Hello fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Lisbon, Portugal, and today we're going to talk about are the kind of typical mistakes that tourists make the first time they come to Portugal. And I'm going to start with 2 safety issues that you need to make sure you don't mess up with. Number 1, eating the tremoços, the entire tremoço. Look, when you get a beer or you get a wine, sometimes they'll bring out a little plate for you that has these little yellow beans on it. And I'll see tourists grab a handful, just throw them in their mouth and eat them. Look, you don't eat the shell. What you do is you bite the end of it, then shoot it in your mouth, and then they give you that other plate to put the shells on, okay? I don't want anybody choking on any extra shells, all right? So that's one thing. A more serious safety note I want to say is sometimes people make the mistake of thinking renting a car here in Portugal is going to be as relaxing and chilled out as when you go around the cities, and it's not. It seems like most Portuguese have a little bit of a rally driver in them, so when you're driving through the cities, you're driving on the highways, you're going down the Algarve, Alentejo, wherever, just be aware that you need to be paying attention to the other drivers, not just yourself. Now that I got those 2 safety things out of the way, I think we need to focus on food, because that's one of the best things about coming here is all the food you get to have. And I want to say this, a mistake I see tourists make is they kind of tuck right into the food that's on the table, because sometimes you'll see there'll be bread or olives or bread and cheese, all kinds of stuff on the table already there when you sit down, and it's so inviting, like, oh, those olives look so good. Oh, that ham, that looks fantastic. Oh, the cheese. Look, just wait before you dive in, because what they're going to do, they'll bring you a menu and then you can see the prices for all those things on there. So if you don't want the cheese, just say, no, obrigado, no thank you. They'll take the cheese away or they'll take the bread away so you don't get charged for it. Because I've seen some tourists that get upset when they think it's something free, like chips and salsa in the US, when it's not, okay? So know that. Also, don't make the mistake of thinking the Portuguese kids don't know how to eat. Because you will notice that kids like under the age of 10, a lot of times at restaurants, the parents literally are still spoon feeding them while they're like on their devices or doing whatever. It's just a thing here. Don't think it's weird. It's just the way it is. And if you're eating with your Portuguese friend, this is one thing where I've seen people like kind of like bite back at some of their local Portuguese friend. Look, don't make the mistake of getting offended when your Portuguese friend like reaches over and snatches some of your food from your plate. Because here in Portugal, when you're eating with people, it's more of a family affair. It's more of a everybody's plate is everybody's plate. So if I want to try Joao's, bacalhau, I can do that. Or if I want to try Carla's, mousse de chocolate, it's not a big deal. Whereas sometimes tourists that come from cultures where there's not as much sharing, they get very protective. And it's like they're in jail. No, it's all mine. It's all mine. Don't make that mistake. Because one of the things is that is kind of rude to your local host, but also then you don't get a chance to try their food. And it's not like they're taking all of your porco preto. They're having like a bite, okay? So just relax on that, but I have seen some tourists give some mean eyes to some of their Portuguese friends because of that. Now, when you come to Portugal, you'll realize they love their coffee. They love uma bica all the time, like in the morning, in the midday, in the late midday, for second breakfast, for first lunches, after lunch, in the afternoon, before dinner, when they get home from work, after dinner, when they get home. I mean, they love coffee culture here, but I gotta say, don't make this mistake. Don't think their coffee culture equals Starbucks coffee culture. Now, you will see some Starbucks here, but it's not typically the locals that are going there. It's more the tourists, because you can literally go to any cafe, any restaurant, any place in Portugal, and they will sell you uma bica or, café. It's just a little coffee, so do be aware of that. Because they tend not to really do a ton of stuff with the coffee when you're here. Yeah, you get a carioca and a galao, other kinds of variations of coffee, but you're not going to get like the Starbucks treatment outside of a Starbucks here. Okay, sticking with our liquids theme, I think another mistake people make is they think expensive wine is good wine in Portugal. When you have to realize is all Portuguese wine is good wine, whether it's from the Douro, the Douro, Alentejo, the Vinho Verde, you get the green wine, whatever. You're going to like the wine when you're here, and you don't have to spend a lot. I mean, honestly, they have wine on tap that will be super cheap, that will be delicious. So there's no reason to try to buy expensive wine. And honestly, if you're buying expensive wines here in Portugal, you have to ask yourself, are those actually Portuguese wines? Because if you look at wine lists around the world, Portuguese wines rank very high, but their prices are usually very low. And that is the same thing here. So you're going to have great wine and you don't have to pay a lot for it. So don't make that mistake. Now, when you're reading the menus or when you're reading the signs around town, sometimes tourists make the mistake of not knowing the sounds of Portuguese, okay? Because you'll see this A, O at the end and has a little squiggly line, a tilde over the A. You have to realize that is ow. Ow. I think, ow, I stubbed my toe, but say it through your nose. Ow. So like a guy, typical guy's name is João, John, João. Okay, so have that ow there. If you want to say no, no is no. No, and for some tourists, it's hard to get that nasal out, so sometimes they get confused on that, okay? Another thing is when a word ends in an O, it doesn't make an O sound. It makes a U sound. But if the O is within the word, it does make an O sound. That's why some people are like, oh, obrigado. It's like, no, it's obrigado. Okay, so be aware of that. And I guess another like letter thing you need to know, if a word ends in an M, it makes an N sound. So sim is yes, so sim, but it's S-I-M, but it sounds like S-I-N. And kind of going along with that, I think another mistake tourists make when they come here is they think people speak Spanish here. I mean, I've gone around, my students like, oh, gracias, gracias. I'm like, dude, this isn't Spain. It isn't Spanish. The people here don't like to be compared to Spain because, they've been rivals for a long time. And so there's not necessarily ill will there, but yeah, no Portuguese person appreciates being compared to Spain or Spanish people or being spoken to in Spanish. So learn a few words. Remember, obrigado is thank you. Por favor is please. Onde está is where is. These kind of things are very helpful. Bom is like very is good. Muito bom is very good. Know that when they talk about the food. Oh, muito bom, muito bom. It goes a long way to ingratiate yourself because this is a smaller country. In a smaller country, I've seen the people appreciate more when people just try to speak the language, okay? So don't bust into your high school Spanish because they don't speak that here. They speak Portuguese. Now, moving away from my culture lecture and language class, let's go back to food. Another mistake people make is when they come here to Portugal, they think they can stay away from the carbs when they're here because there's all the fish and meat. I'll be fine. Look, don't make that mistake. There's no way you can escape carbs when you come here because if you get porco preto, the black pork that's here is fantastic, but it'll come with rice and fries, and don't forget the bread at the beginning, or sometimes they'll come with rice and fries and another side of rice. They love their carbs. You will have lots of carbs when you're here. Believe me, like even if it's just the fried polenta you have, it's fantastic. But yeah, there's no way of getting away from that, okay? Because carbs are definitely a thing here. Take my waistline for honest answers. You can't stop the carbs when you're here. All right. Now, when you go out to restaurants and you go out for drinks or whatever, I think a lot of people don't know about vinho verde. And don't make that mistake. Make sure you're getting vinho verde when you're here, but it has to be cold. If you go to a restaurant or a cafe and you get vinho verde and they bring out the bottle, if it does not have a cold sleeve that goes in it, or they put it in a container like with ice or cold water, that's not a place you should be drinking vinho verde because it has to be cold to really be enjoyed, okay? And if you're not sure what vinho verde is, it's green wine. And it's basically like a sparkling white wine, not like champagne. It's like it has a quarter of the bubbles of champagne, but it's super refreshing in the heat you have here in Portugal. And speaking of wines, here's a little small mistake people make is they think the port wine caves are in Porto. Well, actually, no, they're actually in Gaia, okay? But Gaia is just the other side of the river from Porto, but it's all considered Porto anyway, so that's just a little thing that whenever you go to Porto, they always mention that, like, actually, the caves are in Gaia on the other side of the river, so before they give you that, like, bad joke when you do the port wine cave tours in Porto, which you should definitely do, just have a heads up for that one. And speaking of city mistakes, another mistake I see tourists make when they come here to Lisbon, they engage with the guys that are like offering to sell you hashish, cocaine, marijuana. Look, don't get yourself involved with those people. Don't talk to those people. Just walk on by. Just say now and go on. Because you engage with them, they keep talking to you. They keep following you. They tell their friends, hey, they might be interested. Just stay away from that, okay? And you're usually your now obrigado, now quero, I don't want, no thank you. In Lisbon, another mistake I see tourists make is they go down to Algarve and they think they can use Portuguese down there. What you have to realize is Algarve is, I spoke more German and English down there than I spoke Portuguese because a lot of people from Europe and the US have retired down there. So if you're looking to pick up some Portuguese when you're here, you're better off going to smaller towns around the country than going to the Algarve, to be honest, okay? Even Porto would be better than going to Algarve to learn Portuguese, okay? Now that also gets me thinking about another mistake people make. They literally only do Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. That's it. But you have to realize there's tons of small towns and medium-sized cities you can go in and visit when you're here. And some of them just make great day trips. If you're in Porto, you can go to Braga and see the Bom Jesus, the church up on the hill you can hike up to. Guimarães, the stone city and birthplace of Portugal. Hey, you can get to Viana do Castelo, another city that's really nice to go to. Hey, if you're going to Alentejo, you've got Évora, where you can see the bone chapel that's there, the cathedral. Go to Beja. There's so many nice, Coimbra, the university city. There's so many other places besides where Ryanair or EasyJet fly into for you to explore. So go out and explore when you're here. Now, another mistake that I see tourists make when they come here is they want to pay for a fado show. Look, if you're not sure what fado is, that is the melancholy, saudades, the longings of older days music that's traditionally from Portugal. And you can find fado shows in a lot of places where tourists are, but honestly, if you're going to take a boat ride or you're going to be going on some kind of cruise or tour or whatever, they'll probably have a free one anyway, sometimes in Portugal. So if you're walking around, there might be people just singing fado in the bar. So you don't necessarily have to pay for a show. So if you're looking for it and you want to do it, you can. It's not a problem. But don't let that be the end-all be-all of your day, because those shows usually about an hour and then you're on your way. Now, another mistake that tourists, especially that go down the Algarve, think is they think that in Faro, where they have their own bone chapel, that's like the bone chapel of Portugal. No, no, no. There is a bone chapel in Faro, and you can get up close and personal with those bones. However, the real bone chapel, the big one, is actually in Évora, and you go there, and it's literally an entire chapel, like dedicated and built with human bones. Like you see the skulls, you see their arms, their legs, all kinds of stuff. And it can be quite impactful or spooky for some people. But yeah, for those that just go to Algarve, don't be like, I saw the bone chapel. Yeah, you saw one of them. There's multiple here. And the Évora one, that's the one to go to. Now, no matter where you're going in Portugal, your shoes are going to be an important thing. And I've seen a lot of tourists, they'll go around with flip-flops or slides. And what you have to realize is, I don't know if you can see behind me, but if you walk around Portugal, you'll see they love these little tiny stones to make their sidewalks in, which looks cool. They'll put fancy designs on there, all kinds of cool stuff. Can't say anything bad about the look of them. But the thing is, it makes things uneven. And also when they come out, and it makes it a little tough to go. And if it rains or it's a little wet, it can be really, really slick. Heck, even if it doesn't rain, I see people slip and fall all the time. Like, I don't laugh at people slipping and falling anymore in Portugal, because after 5 years of seeing people wipe out, and myself, I don't laugh about it anymore. So don't make the mistake of not bringing kind of a little bit of grippy shoes when you're here, especially if you're going to be in Lisbon or Porto, where you have hills you're going to be dealing with, because it can be a safety issue. And another safety issue I would say is people making the mistake of going to Alentejo in the summer. Alentejo is like the hottest, driest, I don't want to be there in the summer place in Portugal because of that heat. I know Évora is great and you want to go there, but be aware, if you go to Alentejo in the summer, we're talking over 100 degrees, over 40 Celsius. I mean, it's not uncommon. And that heat beating down on you, you got to be careful with it. And with that heat, you'll notice things slow down. And I think that in general is something that tourists need to realize. Don't make the mistake of thinking things can happen in a hurry here in Portugal. You have to have patience. I mean, my fifth love of coming to Portugal is just how you can really relax here. And it's not just because it's a relaxing environment, it's because they kind of force you to relax. Because it will take time to be seated, to get the menu, to get your drinks, to get your food, to get your stuff paid for, to go to the shop, to get them to pay attention to you. It takes more time. So anything in a hurry is not going to be in a hurry. And you have to be prepared for that. So plan accordingly if you need to eat earlier, or if you need to be in a hurry or need to get to an airport, just so you know that. Now, I'm here during the Festas Populares, and I've seen a lot of sardines, grilled sardines around here, and it reminded me of something that a lot of tourists forget about, and they make the mistake of thinking if I order fish here in Portugal, it'll be filleted for me and ready for me to eat. It's not that way. Look, if you get robalo, if you get dorada, you might have some bones. You're going to have to pick through some stuff. If you're having your codfish, you got to be careful because there might be a bone in there. Remember, if you get the bone stuck, eat some bread. That helps it go through, okay? But it's one of those things you need to realize that if you're here for the grilled sardine season, yes, you might have to, take the skin off and get the guts out yourself. And if you don't like it when the fish stare at you while you're eating them, yeah, maybe stick to the porco preto because it's just tasty and delicious, and it's pork. But I'll tell you what, do not tell your Portuguese friends that you're scared of having the sardines because you have to peel them or just basically saying anything bad about Portugal. I mean, that's a mistake people make is they complain to the locals. Look, no matter where you go in the world, nobody likes when people complain about their country, even if they're already complaining about it. So even if your Portuguese friends are complaining about the stuff in Portugal, the politics or services or whatever, you just go, okay, and say nothing. You talk to your other foreign friends about that, because that's when Portuguese get very proud. Like, hey, don't question our pride in our country, because they really love their country. And they love their language too, and they love the Portuguese. And I think another mistake I made when I came here, because I lived in Brazil before I moved to Portugal, and I had a Brazilian accent. And the mistake is speaking Portuguese with a Brazilian accent and thinking people will accept you like you are Portuguese. It will not happen. Portuguese definitely have a higher opinion of themselves than Brazilians, and that does work in the kind of language barrier as well, because I worked at a really nice school when I was here, and I spoke Portuguese, or I thought I spoke Portuguese, but my students came up to say, hey, Mark, you know what? You speak great Brazilian, but not Portuguese, okay? So stick to English. I'm like, all right. But there is kind of that mentality, so do be aware of it if you study Brazilian Portuguese in school. Now let's get back to some of the food things I think are important. One, if you're going to be drinking wine from a bottle with friends, don't make the mistake of pouring the end of the bottle into your glass. That's a total faux pas. You do not do that. Even if there's only a little left, you want to pour that into your friend's glass. Even if they're not going to drink, You just pour that last little bit in there. I mean, you can get it so there's just a little bit left in there, but you don't pour that rest in your glass. That's very much a big time no-no when you're here. Also, another no-no, unfortunately, is if you're a vegan or a vegetarian. Portugal is not necessarily a good place for you to go to because literally some places your option will be rice or fries or a salad that consists of lettuce or a salad that consists of tomatoes. I mean, that's it. Okay, so do be aware of that. Like I've seen vegetarian aljera, and it's gotten a little bit better here in Lisbon. But even in Lisbon, I have vegetarian students I've brought here. They always have a tough time, so be aware of that. So be prepared beforehand. And going back to the wine, port wine is a famous drink from here in Portugal. I think a mistake people make is they think that port wine is something that Portuguese people drink a lot of. They don't. The Portuguese don't drink port wine that much. Now, they probably have a bottle or two at their house. That's for sure. They might have a glass. It's kind of like an after dinner drink, but they don't drink it like for fun. They drink beer for fun. Like they meet their buddies and they have beers. That's what they have. Then it's wine. You might have sangria that's here. You know, there's puncha. There's all kinds of other drinks. But yeah, port wine is like kind of down on the list. And a lot of tourists are kind of surprised because like, wait, what about the port wine caves in Porto or Gaia, huh? What about all this? Yes, but a lot of that is exported. So don't think it's going to be something you're going to have often when you're here. I mean, the restaurants will have it if you want it, but it's not something you see everybody in the restaurant knocking down at the end of their meals. And then how can I forget the thing that people always forget? Don't forget about the islands. Look, Portugal has 2 sets of islands that you should really visit because for the coast, the weather, the people, you got the Azores, or Azores in English, or on the Madeira Islands. Honestly, if you can go there, the people are so welcoming, so friendly, and so many people make the mistake of forgetting that the islands do exist. So if you want to visit there, there's plenty of flights from here in Lisbon. You can just go for a few days and go enjoy that. I mean, heck, what I would do, stay in Lisbon like Monday through Thursday, then Friday fly to the Azores or Madeira, then come back on Monday to avoid the crowds here in Lisbon for that weekend. And then you get to enjoy the Azores or you get to enjoy Madeira. So have a great time when you're here in Portugal, whether you're out at the islands, you're here in Lisbon, you're going to Porto, Évora, Alentejo, you're going down the Algarve. Wherever you go, you will enjoy your time here because honestly, it's a mistake not to come to Portugal. Anyway, I wish you all the best. I'll say, até logo. Until our next time we see each other, people, have a great time. Adeus.